in publishing the previous recording. So hello everyone. So we have a very light agenda today. I wanted to talk about Jira. So I don't know if you guys saw, but we have because we're an open source, blah blah blah, etc. Jira Atlassian gives us a free license for us, and I think, to be honest, it's helping to follow a little bit what's going on. So everything is we also have, I think we can also have Confluence and things like that, but I think Jira is just fine enough. So I just wanted to show it to you. Share. Okay. Making it a little bit bigger. So that's maybe a little bit too big. So we have it here. And I just created one sprint for now. It's probably going, I don't know if it's going to last forever or something, but or just use it as a Kanban, but basically it's to do in progress done. Feel free to own it, right? The thing is, when you connect, if you're not an admin and you want to be an admin, be my guest. Okay, I can transfer admin rights there. Um, but where we are is I wanted to create some task for when we're doing pull request. I have the two stories here and one that is actually, I think it's actually in progress. So let's put it here. And that's about it. Okay. Everybody knows Jira, right? Or gives a sense of it. And everybody loves Jira, right?
And I did just update the profile picture to be less distracting.
Looking at it more professional, Chris. By the way, welcome to the TSC. It's your first session, right, Chris?
That's right. That's right. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been part of the weekly working group, but it's my first day in TSC. Very excited. I work personally with data contracts on a smaller scale and hospital workflow solutions. So I'm really excited to be a part of this. Thanks.
Well, we're happy to have you. Okay, so basically that's it. Okay, any questions, any comment on Jira? There is an invite link in the TSC Slack channel. If you don't have it, I don't know what's 1 day left here. A trial. Ah, that's going to be yeah. And so everybody has access to it. Okay. Yeah, so let's try to follow up, because right now to follow using it, because right now I was kind of trying to keep in memory or where we were and things like that, and then we can create a milestone on Epic and more crazy stuff as we go. Okay, but at least we're there. Which is kind of the perfect transition to the two other items that I wanted to talk about, which is RFC 7 and the license. Chris, you want to take it on the license? I think it's probably a quick one there. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're working with a new open source license that's specific to specifications, or at least we're trying to make the switch. At the outset, we're pretty simple. A lot of other open source licenses are a simple 1-2 change. However, there are some technical and legal complications to consider. The first and foremost being that this new license that we have to consider provides space to give a very detailed scope. Although this can seem simply descriptive at first, it has large legal ramifications when it comes to contributors and how their work is treated if they decide to leave the organization and how it affects things retroactively. So we are currently reaching out to our legal help to really rein that scope in and get it correctly defined. So that's currently where we're looking. Still just waiting for to hear back on how we can get that appointment set up with the legal help.
Yeah, and that's someone from the Linux Foundation, Jory, and I forgot the last name. And
how is the license called where you want to switch to from Apache 2?
So you should all be aware that we're doing that, right? Because we voted on that part. I think it's a community specification license or something.
That sounds about right. Allow me a moment to get that precise link.
I think it's that, Simone.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Can you post the link in the ticket, perhaps? That would be nice.
That's a great idea. Okay, let me get that out. Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't seem to be, when you change a license, it seems like, oh, I change a license file and boof, magically it's changed. Here it seems to be a little bit more complex. Okay, so, but they're willing to help. And if it's a showstopper, we can always double license. We can still license under this and the Apache 2 if we needed to. But yeah, I think this is good as well. So
yeah. And importantly to note, unless we have the precise legal consent from the contributors that have currently contributed, the license change will take effect at the point which it is changed, as opposed to being a retroactive change to the existing specification. So that is something as well we'll have to discuss with George.
Well, I think the goal for us when we discussed it prior to you joining the TSC is it was really when we release it will be released on yeah. Okay. Any questions? Any comments?
No, I think that legal has to basically decide how to handle that, because we have also the stuff from PayPal as a basis at some point. So I'm not, I don't see, it's probably not that easy. I was part of a license change in a large open source project once, and we weren't able to contact the initial contributor. And so at some point we just changed the license. We had some process for that, but the initial contributor never replied. And I don't know how legally strong that that was. So just keep that in mind here, because with my limited knowledge on that, it was like normally you need like consent from everybody who contributed. And what happens if you don't get consent? How do you handle that? And is there a legal way, or do we just stay on the current license when we can't? So that's something legal has to answer. Just Chris, for you, if you're managing it right now, keep that in mind.
We can
Thank you. I do appreciate that context.
if you guys want, or maybe Chris, you can set up a call with Jory and everybody on the TSC, if you guys want to be part of the discussion with her and understand a little bit more and ask your questions directly there. That's also an option. I know, I know. Usually, legal and licensing is something we have run away from, but it's up to you guys, okay? And because we record and share the call, you don't have to tell me right now, okay? You can just tell me also via Slack, and if you prefer. And of course, the call with Jory will probably not be completely public, so we can share everything we want. Okay, cool. So the last item for today was RFC 7. Let me get back to it. I think we're not too far away from something. There was a lot of work that went into that. So Alpesh suggested something recently. So Alpesh, the something he suggested was to define the external. So it's always the kind of sorry. I went too far into it. So we agreed on having, as part of the design principle, having text. Okay, so as a description for a data quality rule, we agreed on having implicit or predefined quality rule. Okay, we agreed on SQL. Okay, and where we are not yet in full agreement is on sorry, it's on the custom part. Okay. So the few working group sessions discussing that, and so suggestion was to block of time which is non-parsed, that can be specific to the, as you can see for soda here, as for great expectation, which means we can have anything we want. It's just as text. If you want to, if a tool vendor wants to parse the text, YAML, XML, JSON, or even binary, it's up to the tool. But right now, it's a very to copy paste something from the tool there and just completely, it's going to be validated by the schema as just text. Okay. And what Alpesh suggested is to add eventually, instead of implementation as a text, having the implementation via a URL, which makes it a little, but here it's S3 location, but it could also be a GitHub of the rule or something. So so I think it's a fair point. And then that's basically, and both could be acceptable, right? The thing is, we could have both as well, as part of the data quality, or one or something else. Okay, so here's a discussion between us. And if you don't have the URL handy, I'm just going to put it in the chat so you can follow as well. I'm pretty sure everybody has it. if nobody talks, this is going to be the shortest TSC meeting ever.
So on my end, I always argue for to try to be in the standard to be more generic. So therefore, on my end, I do not really like these vendor-specific things, because this means if we get really vendor-specific tags within the standard itself, if a new vendor appears, then the standard or the vendor changes something in his or her notation, then we need also to adopt the standard itself. So for a standard on my end, I always prefer more generic solutions. Then the thing with putting, say, foreign text with this pipe operator, foreign notation into our YAML, at least for me, it also feels weird, because then we got a mixture of YAML and something completely different. The advantage is it's self-contained, so to say, but then it's so generic that it can be anything. And JGB, I also know your argument. So it's and here I have no final opinion, because I do not have let's say a feeling for how vendors would react or how users would react. Maybe if you are a user of Great Expectation, for instance, you may love that you can directly put your parameters here based on the standard. And yeah, we also have a lot of discussions in the working group. Yeah, there was no consensus about what's really the best approach. And yeah, that's my talk. Jochen, you raise your hand.
Yeah, not really an opinion here, but some experiences. So we, in the data contract specification on datacontract.com, we used to also have this style to add your custom quality attributes in a specific language, just like as we see here. And we also have the reference to an external URL. And frankly speaking, nobody is using both of them. So because they are too specific and you get no help through the data contract schema or anything. So in datacontract.com, nobody actually is using custom quality rules. And that's the reason why we also tend to, or we also like the idea of the implicit rules here, where the standard gives you some hints how to define the typical quality rules, actually. So this is just our experience we had with both of these custom styles here.
Well, thanks for sharing, Joran. Any other comment?
Maybe another comment. So what we do have, and we already have RFC 9, is basically how option 9 is handled. So we want to reference to some place else. So it reference RFC 9 is not really detailed at all, but the idea was to have a general mechanism so you could put parts of your contract somewhere else and just reference it, to split it up, to reuse stuff, all these things. And basically option 2, when we have option 1 and 2, option 2 is basically a very specific way of doing that in the data quality. It's not a general mechanism to reference external stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Simon. So basically what you're suggesting is we drop option 2, and when we are finished with option 9, we bring it a similar mechanism back in, right?
Yeah.
Any other opinion?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to have makes more sense to have an external reference, because I think for a lot of people who have, I guess, already have data quality tools that are being used in their organization or whatnot, there's not necessarily any motivation for them to double the effort to include it in a contract, as well, or to do some sort of migration of the data quality rules into the contract.
Well, this mechanism that was what we were talking, and Enrique actually suggested something as basic as that, and to what we're suggesting here, which makes it, I think, okay, so here is what I'm thinking. Okay, we approve option one, or we vote for option one, okay, as a future for defining data quality rules in ODCS. And we have a 3.1 release of ODC1 where we describe the implicit rules, okay, or the predefined, we've got to just find a name as well, rules of data quality that we want to be part of the standard. But in the meanwhile, people can actually use, they can actually use the custom if they need to have the custom, or the SQL ones. Okay, so that would be the path I would suggest.
I guess the option one is good for if we want to be more broad in terms of adoption. I think people would be, I guess, more inclined to see that, hey, my tool is supported or something like that. But as Johan just mentioned, that no one had used the feature in data contracts, so it's debatable as to whether it would help or not.
Well, I think even if it's not used, the mechanism is there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, and I remember we had sometimes fairly complex rules we wanted to run, which are almost business rules, which is something we want to tackle also in the near future. That would that would be implemented by specific modules. Okay, you can imagine I've got a jar with a class pass to the jar plus a location of the jar or whatever in an artifactory loaded dynamically, blah blah blah, whatever you can imagine, right? But it's so specific that it's not going to be part of a standard. So I think that's kind of the idea. Yeah. So so I'd like to put that for vote. Okay, so adopt now RFC 7 option 1 as it is, and for ODCS version 3.1 or later, not too far away, but we define the list of rules we want to correctly define as part of ODCS. And at the same time or later, or before, we also finish RFC 9. Okay, so basically this is about creating an RFC 12. Okay, that will be defines a list of predefined data quality rules we want to support, but at least we can finish ODCS version 3. Do I have someone seconding that?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, so I'll put it in the chat. Okay, so it's accept RFC 7 option 1 for the time for now. Yeah, for ODCS v3. And knowing that external dependencies definition, future version. I can actually show you what I'm typing. It's easier. Yeah. ODCS and list of implicit integrated. We'll find a name for that. Known reality rules as part of future RFC. Okay, so that's what you kind of seconded. So can I have a vote for that? Can you guys vote? We have a quorum anyway. We're not full, but we have a quorum, so but barely. I see some people want to be different in nature. Hey. I think we lost Chris. Okay. Okay, so with that said, that was the last point for ODCS version 3. Right? It's finished. Okay. We've finished ODCS version 3. Yeah, I think it's great. Congratulations, guys. I mean,
Time for the sparkling one now.
sorry?
Time for the champagne now.
Yeah, exactly. I hope or some cider, because I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that Simon brought a lot of cider from from Brittany. So it's a champagne of the poor. So but it's not bad. So anyway, yes. So we're there. We still have a lot of work to do. Thank you so much to Peter for all the work on the schema, because that's a huge work, and there's a little bit more coming. Okay, thanks to that. Don't hesitate, Peter, to put anything in the in in Jira, okay, if you want people to help you review it, test it, or whatever. Okay, but that was a big thing. So there's still a little bit of work. Hey, just completely open. Are you all done, Simon, on RFC 1? Did you integrate it in the documentation?
I didn't have any time yet, so I don't know what Peter did regarding schema. So I don't know.
I essentially converted all of the whatever was in RFC1 into the JSON schema.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think I updated the README with the details.
Well, that's Simon, that's on you then. Okay. Just
You mean in the specification repository, right?
correct.
Not in the RFC repository.
Yeah, in
Yep.
in this one. Here on this one here. but in in dev Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah, I've created an issue and assigned it to me.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great. Yeah, so I've added the placeholder there. I've described, you should all review it, okay? So I so Johan did a lot of work as well for basically RFC 5, if I'm not mistaken from the name of RFCs. Yeah, so RFC 5. There's a lot of work that has been done here by Johan. I did the whole schema thing, which to be honest was long but easier than I was thinking. And um I I described that. So that's uh that's Manuel and Peter work here. I think the final part is Peter. Um and so we are, and I also um change the schemas there. The schema part of the data quality examples, okay? But I did not change the rules because it was not there yet. Okay, so I haven't. So I will do RFC7 basically to there. Um. So when we look at the task, okay, I will update spec for RFC7. I will keep that for me. Dirk. Um, and so the update schema for RFC7. Can I give that to you, Peter?
Yep. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Up. Okay. I'll tell you when I'm done with the spec. And what am I missing? I think then we're good. I don't think so. Please all take a little time to review it, go through it, check the English. We oh I updated the SLAs based on the schema name changed. And yeah, so that's where I also changed the welcome illustration. If you go here, okay. So we've got the fundamentals, we've got the schema that used to be the dataset, data quality, pricing, team, which was stakeholder, security, SLA, infrastructure, business rule, which we have to work on, Martin, and the custom properties. So we had 8 sections, and now we have 10. Okay, so 2 new ones are schema, no, infrastructure and business rules. Takes shape. It's taking shape, guys. All right. So now that we finalized the version, Johan, are you delivering next week the new version of Data Contract CLI?
If you want to.
Perfect. We need to make the announcements. Okay, we need to. So so we are very close. Okay, so that's great. Let's it's a final stretch, and so I think that where we are now, I think we should wait for September to announce it. But let's plan on announcing. You know, people are still a little bit in vacation and blah 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 and all those things. So maybe the week just after Labor Day, here in the US. we can schedule to announce it, version 3. So that's a little less than 1 month. Okay. If you want to provide quotes or link to your own tools or experience or whatever, okay. I want to bundle all these things to make a big splash. We will also have the communication team from the Linux Foundation that helps us. And so all that is great to have. Okay. I may send you a few tasks as well along the way to small tasks to make sure we can capture the right things as we go through and publicize version 3. Okay. So, yeah. All right, guys, this is exciting. We made it. I was hoping we would finish in July, but when you think of it, we started late, right? I don't remember when we started exactly. I think it was like April or May, and we get all together and with Simon's working group, all the ad hoc meetings and all the things we did, all the efforts from everybody, we managed that. Okay, I think everybody should be super proud that we've been there. I think we're changing the data engineering industry for good here. So should give yourself a hand. I'm super proud to work with you guys. That's really, really awesome. All right. Any any other word, anything? Probably it would be a short call anyway. Okay. Okay, guys. See you soon on Slack. Peter, go to bed. And see you everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.